How's everyone doing today? Shankar P right here. Today we're going to dive into the Bitcoin price and see where we're headed. We've got some important updates to show you guys and some key resistance levels that we're currently just above right now. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and share if you think this video is informative. And once again, I'm not a financial advisor, so anything in these videos are just for entertainment purposes only. So without further ado, let's dive into the chart. Alright guys, so if we look here on the daily time frame, we actually opened our daily candle above this resistance zone. And you need to remember the importance of this resistance zone, that it was resistance from all the way here. We had touches here, and even recently we've got rejected 1, 2, 3 times. So the fact that we've opened above it is a very good sign, right? So this is, we still have because we're so close to the actual zone, we can still get faked out that to the downside. But the fact that we've opened above it, and if we zoom in here, we're in a pennant pattern. If we got some volume coming in, we can confirm the actual break to the upside. And you could take this and say this is the our target would be here, which would be about 4,500. So for me, I'm looking for above 44.5 for us to be like, hey, we're bullish. So this is the area where I'm saying 44, about 44.5 is where I can say, okay, we can go full bull mode. Everything's looking good. So we have this good bullish structure here, and if we break with volume, so we do need volume. We're above it right now, but we do need some volume. We can see this price in the next push up. So why are we looking for that price? So if you remember, here we have our Wyckoff accumulation schematic that we've been following for a couple months now. So if you look, so we have this Wyckoff accumulation schematic. So we had the test and all that, and right now to break 44, so it's about 44,600. Wow, my eyesight has left me. 44,600, around there. If we break that, can come above, hold, test, and then move up. That's what we're looking for us to really start to begin our ascension, to make higher highs, and continue this bull market, right? So there's something else I wanted to bring to your guys' attention with the Bitcoin price, is that if I actually put the moving averages here, so if this right here is a death cross. Let me actually switch the color here so you guys can see. So when the 200 day, sorry, that is not a death cross. This is a death cross. Right, so that's a death cross right there. So when the 200 day crosses over the 50-day moving average, we consider that a death cross, and a death cross is bearish price action. Is bearish. It's a bearish indicator. And in the stock market, when you're under the 200 day and you've had a death cross, that's a signification of a bear market. So we had this chop downwards, which it was a mini bear market, and then we had the cross that took us back above, and we had our ascension from 29k all the way to 69k, right? So just wanted to pay attention on this chart that we're forming what could be is a cross and a golden cross, and right now we're over the 50-day, making our ascension above the 200-day moving average. So that's what I don't really trade with moving averages that much, but I just thought it was cool for you guys to see that we were using the 50-day moving average as resistance. And currently we've had our first, so let me zoom in here, we've had our first test and move up. So this is the first time where we've come above the moving average, tested, and it looks like this is not a fake out like here. So we tested it, we came up and dropped back down. We're testing it, and it looks like we had a successful hold and are moving higher, you know, will chop all the way up. So yeah, so this is great for us to see. So like I said, over here we have the 50-day moving average being used as resistance, and then used as support over here. And again, we have, it was used as resistance, the 50-day, and then when we got the golden cross and we're above the 200-day as well, we use it as support. So even this whole bull run over here, it was used as support, right? So that's great. That is very great for us to see. Let's also look at the free version of Market Cypher. So Market Cypher right here, we're above all the moving averages. Bounce, so you know, it's pretty much just right at the 50-day bounce, and are seeing it being used as support. So this is a good sign, you know, and then it's showing a buy signal right here. So significance of this is whenever we bounce and it twists upwards and we use it as support, we start our ascension. When it's being used as resistance, the trend continues down. So you can see from this whole bull market, this has been what happened. So let me just turn off these. So yeah, so through our whole ascension, we've been using it as support. As soon as it twisted, we got this lower high here, lower low, lower high, and then it was used as resistance all the way down, right? So that's also pretty significant. But right now, today, we are just keeping our eye on this right now. Bitcoin's actually moving at the moment. So yeah, we're at almost 44,100. So I know a lot of people might be FOMOing in right now. So there's a couple reasons why, you know. First of all, we anticipated this was going to happen, right? We anticipated that we're going to be, once we cross over 44.5, we're going to have our next leg up until the last wave. So, you know, we just need to see a little more volume here. But I'm liking the candle and how it broke up. But let's go to the BLX. And like I said, is that the Elliott wave theory. So if we look, we had our wave 1 here, came down for the corrective wave, impulse wave 3. So impulse wave 3 is always bigger than impulse wave 1. And then we had the corrective wave here. So we corrected down here, and then we'll have our final impulse. Whether we stop here, you know, who knows where we will stop, but I do believe we have this last wave. We could break up to the upside. And like I said, a lot of people think that, you know, we've been in a bear market this whole year, but 2021. But remember, this is an uptrending channel. The probability of breaking to the downside is higher, but the trend is your friend until the end. And the fact that, you know, we bounced up, the probability of us, you know, hitting the top of here at least is high. We could definitely come down and then test the bottom of the channel, which we're, you know, breaking to the downside. You know, there's a probability, but what I'm anticipating is that we have a wave 5. I'm anticipating we have a wave 5 that breaks up through this channel, and then this is now the support for the next bear market. So that's what I'm anticipating, is that we break to the top of this channel, break above the channel, we have a swift move up, and then we start our real bear market. And then these levels is where you'll start buying Bitcoin, and the price will be bottoming out wherever this is. So let's also look at the log regression bands here to see. So yeah, so let's say, well, these aren't. So if Bitcoin were to touch the top of, right now, the highest I would go would be 184,000 based on these log bands. So remember that these log bands every time Bitcoin has reached the peak, it has touched the top of this log band. So what we're still anticipating is, you know, it may not touch the exact top, but we're anticipating that it will get close to the top here. And at the moment, if we look in history, we are closer to the bottom of this than we are to the top. So the time to buy, you know, now is a great time to buy, because risk to reward, you know, the risk is lower, though this could be like a 30% drop to the downside, but the upside, especially if you're holding for 10 years, 20 years, you know, if this log band, you know, is correct, and it's correct until it's not, you know, in 2025, the price of Bitcoin could be as high as 700,000 and as low as 500 or 400,000. So you want to keep that in mind as, you know, you're purchasing, is that long term, this is trending upwards. And, you know, Bitcoin is only cryptocurrency in a whole is only a $2 trillion asset class. So there's a lot of money to be made in this market for the next decade, you know, 2 decades, that's to say the least. So let's look at the SPX, because, you know, a lot of people don't look at traditional markets and what's going on over there. We do, because we know that it does matter and all markets are correlated. So I did say yesterday that we had a bounce. I was on my Twitter, I said we had a bullish divergence here. We got a little bullish divergence here. My God, we had a little bullish divergence here, and I was saying that there's a support level around 44.42, and that we could come down all the way here for the next for a bounce up. So we did have that, but I want you to keep in mind that we currently are experiencing a bearish divergence. So we could actually come back down. We could have a red day tomorrow, come back down, and then maybe have our ascension, or we could just break through, and then this bearish divergence would be negated altogether. But regardless, if we have a pullback, that's not as big of a deal as us when we get here to actually not form a top, because we had a top here, and we also had you know, some resistance for it to come down. So whether we come down off this bearish divergence isn't as much as a concern as when we get to these levels, how is the chart looking? How are we entering these levels, and will we have enough to break? So because to be honest, if we, and that's the thing, if we come down here, form a double bottom, you know, and then we have like a bullish divergence setup. Jeez, oops. Sorry guys, my bag. Yeah, so we have some type of bullish divergence setup where we have a double bottom, and then we have a higher low on the RSI, and then it's a double bottom. That is a good sign. So that's why I'm not too concerned if we have a pullback tomorrow. It's just, if we pull back to a double bottom, that'll be good. And if we can come back up here, maybe do something like that and move higher. So the real concern is when we get here, because if we go straight up, we're gonna need a lot of strength to break through that resistance. If we come down for a double bottom, that might take us, that might give us enough juice and energy to get up to those levels. So I wanted to take a look at the USDT as well, guys. Like I said, we were in this structure, we had this bearish divergence, and we were in this bull pattern. But I did say that even though there's a higher probability of breaking to the upside, that we had a double top here. Not only that, we had a bearish divergence. And we're dumping. And I said, when we dump on the USDT, what does Bitcoin do? Bitcoin pumps. And if you want me to bring up the Bitcoin chart again, I'll just show you, because it's good to get this visualization so you can see, like, look at this. It's literally mimicking the exact opposite of Bitcoin. So look, it's just like literally the exact opposite, right? So yeah, so what we're anticipating is a breakdown to at least these levels, and then, you know, because since the beginning of this bull run, anytime we've reached these levels, we've bounced up and Bitcoin's crashed, right? So when we get down to these levels, then maybe we'll take a good amount of profit off the table and reassess where we are currently in the market. All right, so let's look at the total two. Just the total two, total three. Yeah, I prefer the total three. So if we look at the total three, we were watching this and waiting for it to break out of the bull flag. So it broke out, and so it's approaching its first real resistance. So if we do get a pullback, that would be okay. But you know, targets would be up here, and then if we do break up here, that'd be amazing for the altcoins, you know. But anything can definitely happen. That's pretty much almost doubling the market cap off this breakout. So it could definitely happen, not out of the cards, but we do have these resistances to get above before we make it all the way up here. All right, so, and lastly, let's take a look at the ETH versus BTC chart. So we're back in this pennant. We broke out from here. So if we can get a retest, breakout, retest, and continuation up, that would be wonderful. Like I said, the altcoins, when ETH does well, the altcoins do amazing. So I just want to bring up some of these headlines here. So Russia is considering selling its oil and gas for Bitcoin as sanctions intensify from the West. Russian lawmakers suggest nation could accept Bitcoin for oil payments. So this may have been the reason why Bitcoin pumped in cryptocurrencies, but you have to understand that the U.S. currency is the petrodollar. You know, so if this does happen, this could be the start of, and you know, I don't want to look too far in the future and everything and make random predictions, but this could be the moment. If Bitcoin were to be a reserve currency, this would be that moment where this was actually the first real domino that fell, you know, making that transition and showing people like, hey, if this is actually happening, maybe Bitcoin can be the reserve currency. If we don't want US printing all these dollars and on our end, and when we're in other, you know, if you're in another country, you don't participate in those monies being printed, but you have to also pay for the inflated prices because of the US dollar being printed. But with Bitcoin, it's completely decentralized, and nobody gets to decide what happens. So this could be the first piece of news where it's like, wow, Bitcoin, I mean, a lot of people in the crypto space believe that Bitcoin will be the reserve currency, but this is maybe the first piece of news where mainstream is putting two and two together. Like, whoa, this is actually might be, Bitcoin may actually be a reserve currency. So I just want to bring this up and show you, because this is a very important piece of news, and you know, it's positive for the Bitcoin price. Unfortunately, this is coming out from war, and you know, these decisions that's furthering Bitcoin's growth is happening from war. You know, so it's not a good thing what's happening over there. But on the positive side, I guess Bitcoin is helping Russians and Ukrainians to access funds from accounts that are frozen as well. So, you know, it's solving a lot of things and helping people in need. But I thought this was a great piece of news to show, because I think it's gonna matter. I think people are looking at it and, you know, just reading it, but I think the significance of this is not pronounced as much as people, you know, they're not taking it in as much as they should. But anyways, guys, thank you for watching the video. Please like, comment, subscribe, and share, and tune in next time for more content, and so you can see where Bitcoin's going. Thanks. Take care.